Well, on the occasion of United Nations World Water Day, Mumbai First welcomes you to the Mumbai Water Conclave 2024. I think the team has put in such incredible work to recognize a valuable resource like water. I think for that particular thought itself, I think they deserve a tremendous round of applause for giving so much of value to this resource. Well, my name is Bhavna Bhatia in the industry for over a decade, and it's indeed my honor to welcome all of you, all our guests, and of course, all our dignitaries in the room today. Well, Mumbai, as you know, the bustling metropolis on the west coast of India, faces significant challenges regarding water management. With the rising population and the rapid urbanization, the demand for the pressure on the existing water infrastructure remains. The city relies heavily on diverse water resources, which includes, of course, the rivers, lakes, reservoirs, and to meet its growing needs, it's very pivotal that we all come together as one. Well, if you know, we're already witnessing water scarcity issues in various parts of the world. You must have read it in the news recently about Bangalore, India, right? Also, we have internationally seen Cape Town, South Africa, also witnessing the same phenomena. So as we can truly say now that water scarcity is no longer a distant thought, but something which is happening now. This is why it's very integral for a city like Mumbai not to come to a stage where we are forced to conserve water. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mumbai First, as a not-for-profit, believes that creating a positive, impactful change is pivotal in this league. The need for organizing this conclave has indeed been the right step for us. It is also crucial, if I may say, to put a water conservation policy in play to encourage wise water usage and lessen the demand for the MMR region's fresh water supply to Mumbai. The city has made investments in cutting-edge recycling and water treatment facilities, allowing processed wastewater to be used for non-potable purposes, and of course incorporating the green spaces into urban development and protecting the natural water bodies are some of the tasks which our humble authorities have been carrying out for the same. With these initiatives, we hope that we are creating a water management system that will sustain both for the present and I feel for the coming generations, which is very pivotal. Which is why we're right now at the intersection between the demand for water as well as steps for one has to take, not just to recycle, but also to restore fresh water to meet the pressing demands of the city. This conclave today is very pivotal to create awareness, to highlight diverse water conservation strategies, and also understand how innovation can optimize water usage. We're also looking at talking about water-saving methods, which are very critical for all of us. Just by show of hands, before I begin, how many of you in your current societies or wherever you live, be it in your official complexes, have a water conservation bit in place, be it rainwater harvesting or could be any other technology? How many of you have it? Can I have a show of hands? Wow, so we're about 20% odd. So we still have a room of 80%, which could be a very pivotal step for all of us. It all starts with one individual. And I think that one individual could be any of us today. So I urge each and every one, as a participant, to be a good listener, but also after you get the knowledge out, do remember to be that beacon of hope to the society ahead, because it lies in your hand how to take forward the water conclave in actuality and make a difference. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'd once again like to humbly welcome you all to the Mumbai Water Conclave 2024, organized and an initiative by Mumbai First, which truly puts the city in its heart first. So on that note, I'd now like to invite our humble dignitaries for a lamp lighting. Now the team has been so kind with few things. Of course, we're surrounded with water, as you can see, right? We are in one of the most majestic places in Mumbai. Also, the team decided that why not we have the lamp lighting in a wonderful water basil being kept there, which is a water bowl kept for our guests. And we're going to be putting the tea light and igniting it there. And it's almost like creating a painting, which is a hope for all of us to conserve water. So on that note, I think a lot of thought has gone into organizing every aspect of this. So may I have the pleasure of inviting Mr. Narendra Nair, Chairman of Mumbai Fest, along with Mr. Rajesh Advani, Senior Water Specialist, World Bank Group, Mr. Bate Jong, Counsel General of Netherlands, and Dr. Chidambaram, former Chairman of Atomic Energy Commission, BAC, to please join us for a lamp lighting. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give them all a warm round of applause and welcome each and every one of them. Starting with Mr. Nair taking that baton forward. Let us all take that individual responsibility today together and march forward. And with that, may we urge our dignitaries on stage to come together for a group photograph. Ladies and gentlemen, on the stage, Mr. Nair, Mr. Advani, Mr. John, and Dr. Chidambaram. Let's give them a warm round of applause for igniting a promise together to conserve water, which is one of the most invaluable resources. And maybe also urge all of you to please be seated. We'd like, in any order, that's absolutely fine. We'd also like the opportunity of felicitating each and every one of you, but for the time being, may we request you all to kindly be seated. So since we have the opportunity of having such luminaries on stage, ladies and gentlemen, it's only pious to have a felicitation right at the very start for such dignitaries in place. May I first request for the felicitation of Mr. Advani, if I could have Mr. Roger Pereira, Vice Chairman, Executive Board Member, Mumbai First, to please join us and help us with the felicitation of Mr. Advani. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm round of applause as we request Mr. Roger Pereira to join us on the stage. monumental round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get more energy in the room. Thank you so much, Mr. Pereira. If I could... Okay. If I could now have the honor of having Dr. Chidambaram to please step forward. Sir, if you can join us in the opportunity. Or Mr. Pereira is coming right towards you. So humble and kind of him. And let's get that in place. Thank you so much, sir. So please be seated. And if I could request for Mr. John. Mr. John, thank you so much. And we'd like you to please acknowledge the receival of the token of appreciation from their side. And of course, the man leading from the front, let's give a big round of applause to Mr. Nair. Mr. Nair, I know you're the chairman of Mumbai First, but there has to be a reciprocation at times, right? Mr. Nair literally looked at me, I don't feel this is going to be happening, but I think there has to be reciprocation for the leadership. Come on, let's give him a big round of applause. I think, Mr. Nair, I haven't seen you smile so much. Did we surprise you? Did we surprise you with this? You are supposed to be the one giving it. Oh, that's so sweet. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's always so nice when, we surprise the leadership as well, because one of their pivotal part is that they always believe that they are the hosts. But also I feel that a leader should also be hosted at their own event. And I think the team was very kind to initiate and bring about Mr. Nair's felicitation as well. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to begin with the inaugural session. Firstly, of course, as you would have seen, we've got the lovely tea lights lit in that bowl, which has started with that promise of conserving water and taking this mission forward. Now joining us for the welcome address is the chairman of Mumbai First, who's a driving force behind the Mumbai Transformation Program, a groundbreaking initiative led by the state government of Maharashtra. As a chairman, he's played a pivotal role in commissioning a transformative study in collaboration with McKinsey aimed at propelling Mumbai into a league of world-class cities within a decade. This pioneering effort led to a series of provocative measures, which includes the establishment of Citizens Action Group and the Empowered Committee. Ladies and gentlemen, his expertise and leadership also facilitated the valuable exchanges with the Singapore's Urban Renewal Authority, enabling insights into long-term planning strategies. And as you can see, he's marching forward one day at a time. So ladies and gentlemen, with a big round of applause, let's welcome the chairman of Mumbai First, Mr. Narendra Nair, to join us for his welcome note. And I think the man deserves a big round of applause.
Thank you for those very warm words. I appreciate your comment. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure for me to be here this morning. And on my behalf and on behalf of Mumbai First, I have a great pleasure in welcoming you to Mumbai Water Conclave, organized by us in association with Bombay Management Association and the support of the government of Maharashtra, MMRDA, European Union. Their ambassador is not here this morning, but he'll be addressing us on videos shortly. And European Union have been our great supporters. And of course, the Kingdom of Netherlands. Well, thank you very much for all your support over the years, and you continue to do that. And the World Bank, who've been again a great supporter of us. As I mentioned earlier, when we set up this almost 15 years ago Mumbai vision document, I made a presentation to your president at that time. He said that this is an initiative which we must support. And since then we've had several teams coming from World Bank, people from Europe, people from Far East, And one of the, later on they remarked that they felt this is the best public-private partnership anywhere in the world they've seen. However, in the COVID days, our association has been there not right, but I look forward to renewing our association with the country director and the people in Washington. And there are several other people who have supported us in the years and they continue to support us. We are meeting here, ladies and gentlemen, today on the occasion of the United Nations World Water Day. It was in 1993 that the United Nations General Assembly felt the necessity to raise awareness of the importance of fresh water and advocate sustainable management of resources. Every year, United Nations focuses on specific themes, and this year the theme is liberating water for peace. In my view, this is very appropriate. We are living in unprecedented times when on the one hand, justice and peace has been patently betrayed, and nuclear war threatens to totally annihilate mankind, and on the other, the fury of nature is affecting the lives of millions of people around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, we are very concerned about Mumbai, and our conclave will deliberate and re-emphasize the problems and challenges Mumbai specifically faces due to climate change, and what should be done and could be done where water is scarce and polluted, and people have unequal access or no access at all, as we have seen in recent times. In Bangalore, Cape Town, and other cities around the world. One could not have imagined a few years ago that a city like Bangalore, which is known for its gardens and will face water problems as it is facing today. Climate change is one of the most significant emerging risks facing the world today, presenting tremendous challenges to the environment, world economy, individuals and business. It is also one of the most difficult risks to mitigate. Since the Stern Committee report in 2006, climate change has rapidly become the single largest threat to mankind in a very short period, having overtaken all predicted scenarios. The term climate emergency is more appropriate to describe the times we live in. Prince Charles and now King Charles had said some years ago that ignoring climate change is turning the planet into a dying patient. Similar concerns have been expressed by other world leaders, and not too long ago. President of Brazil, while taking over the presidency of BRICS nation, observed, and I quote, "Climate change," he said, "is not a joke. We have urgently to take care of our planet." Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, we have to act now and act fast, as time and tide will wait for no one, and we must do something to save our city. We are only very, very concerned about the future of our city. The floods of 2005 in Mumbai should have been a wake-up call. Not enough attention was paid by our authorities to the consequences of climate change and how it will affect all the areas that we live in. The lives of millions of people will be affected. The city's water supply is already the biggest challenge. With unpredicted monsoons can lead to either water shortages or excessive, challenging the water resource management. Climate change is also impacting the quality with increase of heat days after monsoon pattern and changes in pollution. We have seen in Mumbai deterioration of air quality. Not long ago, Mumbai had the distinction of being the most polluted city in the world. Regrettably, despite all these challenges we face, enough attention is still not being paid by our authorities. It is incomprehensible to me and several people that while the world leaders, including our own Prime Minister, were negotiating in New Delhi to arrive at a consensus for G20 communique, which included several commitments to protect our environment. In Mumbai, the Tree Authority of India, Tree County Mumbai, were blatantly giving permission to uproot hundreds of trees. More importantly, on this occasion, our Honorable Prime Minister, together with G20 world leaders, have launched a special mission together for a greener future. What we are trying to do in Mumbai is quite the opposite. The theme of the World Water Day is Water for Peace. When we cooperate on water, we create a positive ripple effect for fostering harmony, generating prosperity, and building resilience to shared challenges. We must realize that water is not only a resource to be used and competed over, it is a human right to intrinsic in every aspect of life. The object of World Water Day is that we all need to unite around water and use water for peace, laying the foundation of a more stable and prosperous tomorrow. This morning, ladies and gentlemen, we have graced the presence of eminent personalities who have dedicated their lives to the cause of water conservation. The wisdom and insight of esteemed ambassadors and representatives from a renowned organization such as the World Bank, the European Union, and our friends from the Netherlands will undoubtedly enrich our deliberations. For today's Mumbai Water Conclave, our agenda, brimming with insightful sessions and distinguished speakers, will reflect the gravity of the task and collective commitment to be shared towards securing our most precious water resource. We will deliberate on diverse approaches to freshwater conservation, ranging from rooftop and rainwater harvesting to sewage water recycling, and we will harness the power of innovation to propel our efforts further. Moreover, ladies and gentlemen, we should not forget the pivotal role that end users play in this endeavor. Through sharing best practices and experiences from around the world, various sectors including housing, society, industry, and healthcare, we aim to inspire collective action towards sustainable water usage. Let us be a part of the global campaign for water for peace, and ladies and gentlemen, pledge to conserve water every day. Use it wisely, not waste it. The World Water Day, let us pledge to be mindful of our water usage at work and at home. Let us pledge to save every drop of we can, every day of the week, and let us take to promise to turn the water to the tap while brushing our feet. Before concluding, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I would like to thank each one of you for your presence here today, and especially thanks to our panelists, moderator, and speaker. Let us continue to remind ourselves that every drop of water counts in the journey to a sustainable water secure future. Thank you very much for your attention.
It's always a pleasure to hear Mr. Nair. He has such vibrant thoughts, and one thing which is great to know is his vision forward on very integral issues. I think the team deserves a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And thanks to Mr. Nair for starting off with the event. So, ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency Hervé Delphin, who's the Ambassador of European Union to India, couldn't physically join us. Of course, we have a message which is going to be read out shortly. But just in his introduction, we'd like to say that he's somebody who's got 30 years career specializing in the EU foreign policy, and he's somebody who has led European Commission's Unit for Humanitarian Responses in the European neighborhood as well as the Middle East. I'd like to have the honor of calling upon Mr. Roger Pereira once again, and so we'd like to have you do us the honor of reading out what His Excellency Hervé Delphin has sent for all of us to hear. Looking forward to that, and let's give Mr. Pereira and thank him from our side for taking on this noble task to take it forward.
Thank you so much. Excellencies, honorable officials from the state government, distinguished representatives from Mumbai Development Authority, civil society, the World Bank, and Mr. Chairman, Mr. Narendra Nair. Experts, ladies and gentlemen, in the audience, good morning on behalf of the Ambassador. Many thanks to Mumbai First for this invitation on the occasion of Water Day and the World Water Day. Globally, 2.1 billion people have lived without access to safe water. India, which has 18% of the world's population, only holds just 4% of the world's water resources. Management of water resources is therefore paramount, and management of river basins is a crucial element of sustainable water management policies. Rivers connect us all, upstream and downstream. As a lifeblood of agriculture, of industry, of nutrition, and as a sustainable source of energy, as a conveyor belt for water, for waste and for pollutants, or a shelter for biodiversity, as a trade routes and cultural heritage. River management transcends administrative boundaries and requires fair, open, participative governance for all ecosystem functions, environmental, social, and economical, to be maintained or restored. This is especially true and especially challenging when rain patterns, floods, droughts, heat waves become less and less predictable. The India-EU Water Partnership was set up in 2016. It is now in its third phase with a focus on integrated river basin management, and plans in particular the planned and developed for the Tapi River. As you know, before reaching Surat and Gujarat and the Arabian Sea, the Tapi water catchment represents more than 65,000 square kilometers and collects water from Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh, 2/3 of which are agricultural land, fills more than 350 dams, 5 of which provide hydropower, and cuts across 18 districts. The experience gained in the Tapi River not only benefits your 3 states and populations, but the EU supports the river management boards for the Ramganga and the Brahmaputra to develop and improve similar plans, and for the Jal Shakti Ministry and Central Water Supply Commission to share best practices, compare and evaluate these policies in a science-based manner. The EU's own experience regarding river basin water management plans has been challenging and yet rewarding. As of today, 15% of European Union's fresh water remains in poor condition, whereas 45% are deemed of good or high quality, despite billions of cubic meters of water used every year for drinking, farming, manufacturing, heating and cooling, electricity generation, tourism, and other service actions and sectors. Beyond basin river management, there are other important avenues for the sustainable management of waste of water. Management of urban water distribution systems are crucial as urban populations increase. The EU supports the city of Chandigarh in the modernization of water distribution network. Team Europe investment in water sector altogether is 300 million euros. EU and India also partner in co-innovation and testing of new technologies and business models, as they demonstrated in the Mumbai Water Technology Conference just a couple of months ago. The collection of water from the moisture and other technologies often offer additional solutions to address the challenge of water resources. I am confident your conference will be an exciting platform of exchanges, the best practices, and identification of solutions that can supply not only to Maharashtra, but for the rest of India. I wish your conference and your conclave a very successful meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pereira, for joining us, and thank you to His Excellency Erwin Elfin for sending that message across. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for us for our next address. We have with us Mr. Rajesh Advani, Senior Water Specialist of the World Bank Group. A Senior Infrastructure Specialist at the World Bank Water Global Practice. He's somebody who brings over a decade of experience based in Washington, D.C. He's somebody who focuses in Middle East as well as North Africa. He specializes in finance, mobilizing commercial finance, promoting private sector participation, and supporting utility performance evaluation and decentralization in the water sector. It's incredibly pivotal that he joins us today for the address, so let's give him a warm round of applause as we welcome Mr. Rajesh Advani.
Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to be here. I'm here on behalf of my country director, Mr. August Kwame, and I also have with me my colleague Satya Priya. I sent two of us in this place. I just wanted to note, Bhavna, thank you for the introduction. I'm sorry that bio is a little outdated. So I'm actually based in Delhi, and yeah, so it's really an honor to be here. When I briefed with August, I asked him at the end, I said, should I wear a blue or a gray suit? And he said, that's your choice. And I come here, I picked out gray, I come here and I realized when you introduce, it's UN Water Day, but I don't have a blue suit that's as striking as what you're wearing. I think you've really done an excellent job in terms of representing the Water Day. Thank you so much. So, in starting, I wanted to first recognize, I hear the challenges that Mr. Nair and the Honorable Ambassador spoke about, but I wanted to also recognize the good work of Maharashtra as a state and Mumbai as a city. It's a state that's dealing with immense variability of water resources, rainfall, floods, droughts, urbanization, increasing demand on water resources, heavy pollution. But at the same time, Mumbai has also transformed itself. It's gone from the city that Mr. Nair talked about to being one of the most polluted in the world, to actually treating approximately 30% of the sewage to secondary treatment level. I think that's impressive in terms of a progressive gain. Beyond this, Maharashtra has some of the most economically vibrant cities in India. Mumbai, Nasik, Pune, Pimpri, Nagpur, all of these cities have innovations in their own way. Nagpur is a leader in reuse of treated wastewater for industrial use. All of these cities have been able to self-finance themselves, raising bond finance, raising commercial debt. And Maharashtra itself has been a pioneer in terms of water regulation in India. And I believe Mr. Chahande is here, he's going to come and speak about this later on, but I think Maharashtra has gone beyond just groundwater regulation, which is what a lot of Indian states are struggling with, and even tested some form of regulation in the drinking and industrial water supply. So I wanted to just recognize the good work that's been done. At the same time, as Mr. Nair said, India is facing climate change, urbanization, population growth, and which is all threatening our water security. Maharashtra and its cities are not shielded from this, they're not immune to these forces. India has 18% of the world's population, only 4% of its freshwater resources. It's the world's largest consumer of water, the world's largest extractor of groundwater. According to work that we have done, by 2050, 50% of India's population is expected to be residing in urban areas, adding 416 million people to our cities. Some estimates in terms of capital investments suggest that over the next 15 years, these cities will need to invest $840 billion in infrastructure. And about 30 to 40% of this is in the wastewater space, just because of the fact that this is an area where the cities are a little behind. Effective management of the water sector is key to mitigating climate change risks, maintaining a clean and healthy environment for people and the planet, and to really keep India on track to achieving its economic growth targets of 6 to 8%. In terms of solutions, I think technology is playing a key role in terms of improving service delivery, building resilience, monitoring the performance of systems and investments across the board, etc. And this is an area where India is really advanced. You have technological hubs across India. Bangalore is just one example. I was at the Water Secretaries Conference in Mahabalipuram in January of this year, and it was really fascinating to see the states come and present all the things that they're doing. There are innovations that are going from reuse of wastewater in Bangalore, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, solutions for monitoring groundwater in rural areas that are just very simple, basic solutions that are very practical to the needs of people in rural India. Managing siltation in dams across India. So there's a lot of technological innovation. Bangalore is a hub, or is the world's largest producer of meters. We're unfortunately not the world's largest user of meters, but in terms of production and export, there's a big advancements there. There's technological advancements in leak detection. You don't have to, they have, I've seen technologies where they put remote systems through the pipes and they're able to send these things through the entire system to identify the leaks. And so I think India is not lacking in terms of its own technological development and its ability to actually export that technology to other countries. But I think 3 areas that I'm going to speak about where more needs to be done is on the efficiency of water management writ large, the institutions and governance in the water sector, and how we plan to finance all of these investment needs going forward. And if you talk about efficiency, we see there's over-extraction of groundwater, losses in the water supply systems throughout, whether you're talking about agricultural water, municipal water, we have huge losses in the system. Major challenges with storage. India's needs are huge. It's heavily reliant on the monsoons, and the storage that we have is not adequate. I mean, it's adequate for the monsoon cycle, but then what happens at the end of the monsoon cycle? Unfortunately, in India, there's still farmers that commit suicide because they didn't get irrigation water during the season. Right? Pollution, as Mr. Nair talked about, and as the ambassador talked about, is a huge, huge challenge. The quality of groundwater, the quality of water in the rivers is really a big challenge. And I think in terms of the efficiency aspect, looking at accelerating water recycling and reuse, this is one of the core topics of this conference over here. Rationalizing the use of the water that we have. Several states are talking about desalination. Yes, it's a good alternative, but it's also expensive. And really reconsidering the storage and the allocation of freshwater resources. And here I'd like to propose perhaps things like in finance we talk about a pecking order theory. You first use your internal cash flows, then you use debt, and then you use equity, right? So maybe when you're thinking about water, you also think about a pecking order theory. You have your freshwater resources, then you have your desalination, and you build it into the mix, right? And then you have to become efficient if you're going to have that desalination, because you're paying for energy. If you're desalinating water and you're paying for pumping, what you're paying is huge electricity bills to pump over 50% of that water into the ground. And of course, this is not a challenge being faced in India alone. It's being faced across the developing world. Many European countries, face the same challenges as well. But I think in terms of efficiencies, these are areas where we really need to focus. In terms of institutions and governance, India needs to continue to evolve its water management policies, institutions, and investments. And there's a lot of domestic thinking about this. There's a lot of think tanks in India. It's in very politically challenging circumstances that they operate. But I think there's no shortage of ideas and knowledge of what has to be done. Policies, institutional mechanisms to promote water efficiency, productivity, allocation, subsidies, and pricing, right? So we should be having sustainable services, but also incentivize conservation and water. But there has to be a certain role of pricing and the efficient use of subsidies to make sure that subsidies are going to those that need the subsidies. In so many cases, you find the poor are the ones that are paying too much for water. In terms of planning, planning at the central, state, basin, and local levels is super important, and there has to be a sharper focus on accountability and governance. The role of regulation is going to be super important. There are examples, there have been workshops, discussions. A lot of states are interested in this. There are a lot of political hurdles to that regulation, but in terms of achieving conservancy, I think regulation and governance in the water sector, accountability, transparency, these will be key. And finally, in terms of strengthening the sector financing framework, we used to talk about the 3 T's, tariffs, taxes, and transfers. I think there are actually only 2 T's. There's tariffs and taxes. So you have to get the money into the system. You're either going to do it by tariffs or by taxes. That's a political choice, political decision. You can see reports that have been published by the CWC on water pricing across India. Where you see is where states have tried to increase water prices, those prices have come down because of political forces. And what you see is a growing gap between costs and income. So that somehow has to be bridged. Another example I'll give is Mumbai again has done an excellent job in terms of its water department. Municipal water department ring fences the revenues and allocates the money needed to run the system. This is a far better solution than many other cities and ULBs across India. I think that we talked about incentives, Mr. Nair also talked about incentives, and tying the national and state financing to some form of outcomes. There is a lot of focus on asset building, asset creation, and I think India is very good at that. We're able to create large assets in all spheres, whether you're talking about dams, water treatment plants, wastewater treatment facilities, etc. There's no shortage of asset creation, but it's really the sustainability and the maintenance, the operations and maintenance. It's our assets that are supposed to last 25, 30 years, when they fall apart in 6 or 7 years, then you're just rebuilding all the time. And that's where I want to come on finally in terms of what the World Bank portfolio and what it is we do over here in India and beyond. I mean, globally, we have a water portfolio of about $30 billion. But that is, if you take the co-financing and the other kind of leverage factors and stuff, that goes way north of $80 to $100 billion. In India, our portfolio varies between $2.5 to $5 billion, but again, with the leveraging factor, the impact I think is much greater. And the thing that the World Bank is not really interested in just financing infrastructure, right? We come into programs that are there to support reforms and to support change. We've been part of some of the huge national programs in India in Swachh Bharat inception phases, National Mission for Clean Ganga. Honorable U.S.P. Singh was a key partner in the launch of the successful Ganga program, Atul Bhojal Yojana, dealing with groundwater, dam safety, etc. And going forward, I'd just like to mention 2 things that we're looking at in Maharashtra here. The team, Satya is part of that team, is working on a climate-informed and integrated flood, drought, and risk management program to achieving a water-secure Maharashtra. And we are also in conversation with the national government to see how they lessons from Clean Ganga can be scaled up to other rivers across India. And there is great interest at the national level, and hopefully there will be interest at the state level for these programs to create incentives to incentivize performance, incentivize results. We're not about building infrastructure, but we're interested in financing outcomes. Thank you very much, and I look forward to the discussions today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Advani. Of course, a very well articulated address talking about the current scenario, but also about the imminent changes which are required. I think he deserves a bigger round of applause for all the points he's put forward today. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's now next talk about our address coming up. We have with us Consul General of Netherlands, Mr. Bart de Jong, who's joined us. Somebody who's currently in Mumbai, who holds a master's degree in human geography. We're talking about furthering ties between India and Netherlands, and our leader has over 3 decades of experience. His expertise includes river basin management and intermodal transport projects in China, as well as the EU representation in Brussels. I'm sure a few of these lines aren't suffice to talk about the length and breadth of work he and the Council have done, but I think through our bigger and a warm, infectious round of applause, we can truly welcome him today to the forum. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for none other than Mr. Bart de Jong.
Good morning to you all. Namaste. Mr. Nayar, thank you so much for, and Mumbai first I should say, giving me the opportunity to speak here. It's an important topic, water. It's not only important to Mumbai, to India, but all of the world, of course. And the day, of course, couldn't have been more apt because it's World Water Day. You chose the right moment, I think. The eyes of the world are on water today. Because pani nahi, jiva nahi. Without water, there is no life. Water is essential for life, and it's a resource that must be protected and managed effectively. In Mumbai, water conservation is particularly critical, given the large population, the rapid economic growth, and also population growth, of course, and the industrialization. Access to clean and safe drinking water, in our view, is a fundamental human right. But unfortunately, many people in India and also many people in Mumbai do not have access to this basic necessity. So when Mr. Nayar and Mumbai first asked me to us, I should say, to be a partner in this conclave, I immediately said yes, because water management is close to my heart. But it's also close to every Dutchman's heart. And that is explained by our geography. Our country is for 1/3, Netherlands, for 1/3 below sea level. And that means that there is no natural runoff of water. So wastewater always stays with you. The need for treatment of wastewater and water conservation of clean water was felt in an early stage in our country. But besides that, due to climate changes, and it was mentioned already a few times, my country, believe it or not, we're known for having bad weather and a lot of rain and a lot of water, but my country is nowadays also facing drought, scarcity of fresh water in summer. And that actually also makes that if there is scarcity of water, if the water level, groundwater level go down, because we are low, we get a lot of salt intrusion from the sea. And that of course aggravates the problem of getting enough fresh water. Now all these challenges through the centuries, I would say, have made the Netherlands experts in water management, in water conservation, and also water treatment. And therefore the Netherlands is a natural partner to engage with in this respect. And we are open to sharing the expertise with the world. In our so-called Netherlands International Water Ambition, we seek to increase water security, so access to clean water, for over 100 million people by the year 2030. We cooperate on projects in the framework of multinational cooperation. Of course, we do that with the World Bank. We do that with the Asian Development Bank and other and also the UN agencies. But definitely, we also do that through bilateral cooperation. In 2018, when Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Rutte of the Netherlands met, they agreed to start a cooperation on water. And a few years later, we signed a strategic water partnership with the Ministry of Jal Shakti and the National Mission for Clean Ganga. Ladies and gentlemen, the focus of today's conclave is on a number of aspects of water conservation. It is on creating awareness and promoting a sense of responsibility and urgency in the adopting water-saving behavior in Mumbai. It's on highlighting diverse water conservation strategies. It's on understanding how innovation can optimize water usage and encourage the adoption and integration of technological solutions for sustainable water management. But what I missed in the write-up of this conference is actually strategies to reduce water pollution. I think Mr. Advani already said that one of the major challenges facing India in terms of water management at the moment is contamination. Contamination of water from industrial waste, from agricultural runoff, and notably in an urban environment as Mumbai, also inadequate waste collection and sewage water treatment plants. And of course, a lot has been done at the moment in this respect. But you only have to look at the rivers in Mumbai, flow through Mumbai, and you know exactly what I mean. A lot has been done, but a lot needs to be done still. What has been done actually by the state government, Maharashtra state, by the Mumbai Municipal Corporation, but also at ward level and even by NGOs, is a lot. It's rainwater harvesting in buildings and societies. There is an effort to reduce water leakage. Water metering, of course, is an important part of that, and adding a price to water, and a real price to water. And then, of course, as I said, there's also large investments in wastewater treatment plants. But above all, I think it's essential that we continue to raise awareness about the importance of water. Water conservation, water treatment, and reducing pollution. And the awareness should be there at all levels, with the industries, with agriculture, but not really also on a household level. Because as I said before, without water, there is no life. It's imperative that we prioritize the implementation of sustainable and innovative solutions for water management. And this includes investing in advanced water treatment technologies, promoting water conservation and efficiency, and integrating nature-based solutions into water management practices. The issue of water conservation, ladies and gentlemen, in Mumbai is complex and it's multifaceted. But it's a challenge that must be addressed with urgency and with determination, political will. By working together, we can make significant progress in improving access to clean and safe water for all, where every person in Mumbai has access to clean and safe water. As I said before, the Netherlands is an expert in water management, conservation and treatment, and we are ready to partner with Mumbai in that effort. And I hope that this conclave will contribute to reaching that goal. I wish you all a very fruitful conclave. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Partejong. Truly between Mumbai and Netherlands, at least especially with family ties which I have, my brother stays in Den Haag, Netherlands, and I personally feel that when different countries come together, we're talking about, as you rightly said, that it's a basic human right to have clean water. And I think when you have the leadership propelling on a very level which can be understandable by all, when there is a very clear vision, I think on that note, for us to further our ties with different countries, I think for that, let's give Mr. Jong a warm round of applause for taking on this initiative.
Friends, this is an excellent initiative of Mumbai Bus. And Executive Narendra Nayak for organizing this meeting on the World Water Day. As you all know, water is the elixir of life. There is a famous rhyme of the ancient mariner. This was written in 1834 by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. The poem is about a ship in the Pacific Ocean drifting, and the mariners were without drinking water. And the poem says, water, water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. That is why desalination technologies, particularly for coastal cities, are so important. And the Baba Atomic Research Center has a very big program on desalination technology. These activities were initiated in the 1970s and were mainly based on thermal processes initially, and pilot plant projects were built. And the potential of reverse osmosis was very important, was developed, and plants were built which had commercial viability. Later in the 1980s, R&D efforts toward development of membrane processes for reverse osmosis were also undertaken. You know, the hydrogen in water has got several isotopes. All of you know about isotopes. There is hydrogen and there is heavy hydrogen. See, the chemical property of any element is determined by the number of electrons. The electrons which do the chemistry part of it. And the electron and the protons are batched. Otherwise, then it's a neutral atom. But you can go on adding neutrons to the nucleus. Chemical properties hardly change. And this is what we call isotopes. Now, to hydrogen, if you add one more neutron, it becomes heavy hydrogen. And if you make water with that, it becomes heavy water. And this deuterium content in all hydrogen is something like 1 in 10,000 or 2 parts in 10,000. And the Department of Atomic Energy needs this heavy water for its pressurized reactors. That's one of the big technologies we have developed is heavy water technology. Now, we look at water and the human body. In fact, water is of major importance to all living things. In some organisms, up to 90% of their body weight comes from water. Up to 60% of the human adult body is water. Think of it, we are not a solid guy, we have a lot of water inside us. The brain and the heart are composed of 73% water. Wastewater treatment. Never throw away wastewater. You can always recycle it after suitable treatment, at least for agriculture. Do it further properly, it can be used even for drinking. Of course, I mentioned about seawater, desalination and so on. Prospecting and extraction methods depends on the desired water quality and its final utilization. And it requires many kinds of scientific work like hydrological investigations, geophysical surveys, remote sensing assessments, and the more simple method of investigating already existing wells, well sites in the area and their depths and characteristics and so on. Interestingly, sometimes you want sites without groundwater in proximity. And there are technologies available for that, geological prospecting. Pokhran was mentioned. We wanted sites so there no water nearby. Because we have geologists, but best method is to go and ask the villagers in the Rajasthan desert. They will tell you where they had dug for water and found none. And that is how we prospected and found the suitable sites for the Pokhran nuclear methods. Of course, water scientifically is very interesting. If you want to live on the moon, you must check is water there. Chandrayaan-1, launched in 2008, played a crucial role in the discovery of water molecules on the moon. And Chandrayaan-2, launched in 2019, revealed the presence of water in multiple locations on the moon, not just at the lunar poles, as observed by India's first moon mission, Chandrayaan-1. ISRO has said that data from the imaging infrared spectrometer in Chandrayaan-2 showed widespread lunar hydration and unambiguous detection of hydroxyl groups which are considered as water signatures. The Pragyan rover in Chandrayaan-3, the recent which landed on the pole, has discovered sulfur on the moon. Now, it's very interesting chemistry. If you find sulfur, you can find water ice, and that is what they have now going for. And of course, as has been mentioned by the earlier speakers, water is limited, population is growing, people's needs of water are growing, so water conservation is very important. You must use water efficiently to reduce waste, managing and using water resources to minimize the amount of water. Every society, housing society, must have a method of recycling water, at least for agriculture or for the plants or other needs around the society, if not for drinking. And water conservation is also essential for preserving our ecosystems and biodiversity. And even animals need water. If you want to preserve wildlife, you must make sure that they get the kind of water that they need. The future human demand for water may also increase due to such factors as climate change. All of us keep on hearing about climate change and global warming. And this is going to increase evaporation. And industrialization, on the other hand, is also going to increase. And water is needed for that. And aside from that, and finally, there is the question of intergenerational equity. We can't go on consuming not only water, resources, and not leave enough for the next generation. Any mineral, water, anything, you must always keep in mind intergenerational equity, not overuse global resources, including water resources, and as I said, leave enough for the future generation. Let me close now, and again thanking Mumbai first for this excellent initiative. And I must tell them this is not a one-day initiative. You must keep at it and have more specialized meeting. Of course, you have Sharmani. Water, as I said before and say it again, is the elixir of life.
And duly noted, Dr. Chidambaram, of course, coming with his scientific knowledge and contributing to the forum. Thank you so much, Dr. Chidambaram, for joining us and encouraging us on this initiative. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, shortly, Shri Suresh Prabhu might join us on a virtual platform. He is right now currently not in Mumbai, he is in Goa. But currently, due to the work schedule, he's not going to be joining us right now in the actual hour. But during the course of the day, we'll let you know as to when he can join, and then we'll definitely like him to address. But in interest of the audience and in interest of all our leaders present on stage, I think it's time for us to conclude with the inaugural session. Well, it's fair enough to say in Dr. Chidambaram's words that water is truly the elixir of life. And with each and every leader present on stage, with their organizations, are only propelling this cause forward so that it's every human's right to get fresh and clean water. And for that thought, ladies and gentlemen, let's warmly applaud all of them and thank them from our side to join us on this platform. And with that, if I may request once again our leaders to just, if you can stand and join us for a group photograph, if we can just have the four of you in one frame. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm and a magnanimous amount of applause for all of them. And I know Mr. Nair and Dr. Chidambaram would love the conversations to continue, but let's get all four in one frame to get the final picture on. Ladies and gentlemen, let the applause continue. We just concluded with the inaugural session and thanking all our dignitaries for joining us today. We have with us Dr. Chidambaram, Mr. Jong, Mr. Advani, and Mr. Nair. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much. So ladies and gentlemen, we did at the start of the event briefly talk about how many of you have rainwater harvesting techniques or any such water conservation methods in your societies. Well, there is an MOU being signed between Naredco West Foundation and Mumbai First today. Well, this is to encourage real estate developers as well as cooperative housing societies, be it the commercial centers, as well as institutions, to conserve, reduce, recycle and reuse water with the aim of reducing the demand on fresh water supply, which is one of our pivotal root causes and one of our pivotal missions. So I think for that, we're going to be we have a MOU being signed, and just to acknowledge the MOU and have that in place, we have with us the Vice Chairman of Naredco Maharashtra as well as President Naredco Maharashtra joining us. So for the Vice Chairman, Rajan Bandelkar, as well as for our President, Prashant Sharma. Can we have both our gentlemen to please join us and help us with the MOU felicitation, and please join Mr. Nair on stage and Dr. Chidambaram as well. We'll get you all in one frame and sure. We'd also like, as the Naredco team has requested, if we could have Mr. Sanjay Obale, Executive Board Member of Mumbai First, to please join us. Mr. Obale? I think it's wise enough to wait for him. Can the team relay the message across to Mr. Obale so that he can be present amongst us? But for the time being, if I could just have all of you come together and get your frame in place. Mr. Rajan and Mr. Prashant, please. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause as this is encouraging the MOU signing between Mumbai First as well as Naredco West Foundation, which is only going to encourage our vision and mission forward for the Mumbai Water Conclave 2024. So I believe Mr. Obale, okay. So ladies and gentlemen, we're just awaiting the arrival of the Executive Board Member of Mumbai First, Mr. Sanjay Obale, to join us on stage and join in the proceedings, as the team of Naredco requested that you also be a part of it, since you've been the felicitator and have encouraged the discussions between Naredko as well as Mumbai first. So I think the frame is now complete. Let's give them a bigger round of applause. And maybe you can just hold it so that we are reaffirming the audience of this bold move and something which is going to be iconic, because all of us need this in our places where we stay, and I think it's a very wise call between Naredko and Mumbai first. So it's not just the talk, but it's also the action being taken forward. So I believe there'll be a signing happening as well, or shall we just keep that on the stage just for the photographs? And I think even the signing can happen offline as well. That's not an issue. But I think the initiative matters more. Let's give them a bigger round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. So I think they'd just like one more frame to be captured. And thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rajan. Thank you, Mr. Sharma.
Just wanted to thank Naredko for signing this MOU with us. But I think the bigger compliment came from Mr. Bandilkar this morning, where he said that after he got to know about this conclave, this morning while bathing he switched off his tap. And he said, I probably saved about 10 liters of water. So I think we made a good beginning, and thank you for reminding me that how these small initiatives can make a difference. We can also, so just give a round of applause to Rajan for this. It's just a reminder that we can do our bit. Also see on the table, there are no water bottles here. It's just the water is there in the glass jars. So we are doing our bit also in conserving plastics and not using plastic bottles for water. So thank you again for being a part of this function. And we'll see that we take it forward not only to the developers, but also to all the housing societies and exhort them to save water. Thank you.
So ladies and gentlemen, what an incredible inaugural session this has been. We've already seen the MOU between Naredko as well as, of course, Mumbai First, and that's indeed very promising, we must say, and we look forward to the further action in that bit, and I'm sure with such great leaders across the forums, we can see some visible changes, I'm sure, in the near future.